Natural Resources Institute, University of Greenwich, UK, and a PhD degree in environmental geochemistry and geomicrobiology from the University of Manchester, UK. In 2018, Dr. Babajide founded ILLUMANIA, an online educational consulting outfit where he provides a wide range of academic support to students, graduates, and business professionals, including academic scholarships. In the last 4 years, ILLUMANIA has produced over 200 MSc and PhD scholarships winners from Nigeria, Ghana, Cameroon, Kenya, Botswana, and South Africa, attracting about In late 2021, he created WADI, a startup that connects African researchers with the resources they need to drive relevance from angel impact investors. So that is who Bro Balaba today is and his achievement. So this evening, join me in welcoming these great achievers in the field of knowledge with a round of applause. Yeah, let's unmute our speaker and give him a round of applause as he step on the stage. Okay,
Hello?
so Dr. Babajide, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Can you hear me and can you see me?
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, very good. Good evening. Thanks for having me. And I hope the guy who is supposed to share my slide is not too far away. Okay.
So we can't see you, sir, actually.
You can't see me?
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I think it's because I'm trying to share my screen, or the person is trying to share. So I think for now, just focus more on the slide. After the presentation, then when it's question and answer, then we'll probably be able to use the camera. So for now, can you guys see the slide?
We can.
If you can, please let me know. Okay, good. Now, don't try to write everything on this slide, because I have sent the PDF version of it to the organizers. So what I expect is that they would email it to all the attendees. So after now, just contact the Sciencoon team, and they will be able to send a copy of this to you. So I've given them the right to share this freely with the attendees. So you don't need to try to write everything on the slide. However, if I'm passing a comment to buttress something on the slide and you think you need to jot something down, that is fine. All right, so because of time, let's go straight into it. Next slide, please. All right, thank you. Now, I have a short time. It's an hour, and we've already spent 15 minutes. So, and I need to be somewhere around 7-ish. So I'm going to be a bit fast. Now, you are going to get these slides. So there are a number of things that I won't bother to, elaborate. Why? Because I believe that you get the slides and they are easy to understand. I'll focus more on the areas that need more explanations. So for today, we'll be looking at self-evaluation, making a decision on what to study, considering a career path, that's for those who want to switch fields, how competitive is your profile, how you are to assess or analyze your profile in order to know whether you stand a chance or not. Because a scholarship is not for everyone. I used to say this every time. It's not for everyone. Scholarships are often candidate specific. So they are looking for a particular demography. But so the earlier you know this and you know how they select and what they look out for, the better it is for you to know how to position yourself. Choosing the right scholarship, getting your documents ready, scholarship essay writing, academic CV. I'll give you a general structure of an academic CV. Then develop a thick skin and finally seek the help of a mentor. Next slide. All right, so what does this self-evaluation mean? What it simply means is before you even start the scholarship pursuit, before you start it at all, you need to evaluate yourself. Evaluate what you have, evaluate your profile. And this is important because some of you think you need a scholarship for master's and PhD. You probably don't. You probably just need to do a short course. Or you probably just need to do a professional certification and you'll be fine. I have friends who, like I have a particular friend who works with KPMG. And he moved from KPMG Lagos to KPMG Manchester. And the reason why they were able to move him to the UK is because he had certifications that were useful. He has skill sets that were needed. He doesn't have a master's degree. He doesn't have a PhD. But this guy is doing absolutely fantastically well. So, do you need a master's and PhD to progress? No. The answer is a sharp no. You do not. The question I will ask you instead is, where do you see yourself in 10 years' time? Do you have a good picture of where you see yourself in 10 years' time? If the answer is yes, the next question will be, do you need a master's degree or PhD to get there? If the answer is no, then you don't need all of that. You don't need to. If the answer is yes, then you should follow critically what I'm about to tell you next. And don't think you must do a master's. No, it's not important. No, you don't have to. It is only if it is critical for your growth, for your development, to get you to where you need to be, then that's when it's important. I must also add that masters and PhD are not only for those that want to stay in academia. There are many people with PhDs and they are not even in academia. A good example is Tijani Bosun, the Minister for Communications and Tech, who was in FUTA some days ago. Okay? Now, that young tech guy who has become a minister, when you take a look at him, you realize that he is the CEO of CC Hub. Okay? So he is an entrepreneur. But he went to the UK for his PhD. As a matter of fact, he finished his PhD this year. So a couple of months later, he was nominated for minister. And look at him now. He's a minister. So is he in any institution? No, he's not, but he has a PhD. So what am I saying in a nutshell? Those that think that for you to pursue a PhD means that you must stay in academia, you are so wrong. Just pursue a PhD so that you can improve your research skills and you can improve your ability, especially deepen your knowledge in that field. That's what a PhD will do for you. Okay, so let's move on. Next slide. What to study. Now, why is this important? That's because someone asked me some time ago, said, "Sir, I can't find my course abroad." And I told the person, "Are you sure you can't find your course abroad?" And then I soon realized that the problem is that some people are looking for exactly the terminology of their field in Nigeria. They're looking for the exact word abroad. I'll give you a good example. Somebody studied mass comm and is looking for mass comm in the UK. You'll probably not find it. Okay? You'll probably not find it. Why? Because that tag mass comm is dead abroad. They have divided and subdivided it into courses like digital communications, marketing and communications. You even find it as global journalism, journalism and digital communications. It comes in different words, forms and nomenclatures, but you will not find mass comm. So what am I saying in a nutshell? You need to know that the nomenclature of these courses change abroad. So you must be knowledgeable enough to know how to track the new terms, what they call them. I'll give another example. A course like environmental microbiology, you will probably not easily find that in the UK, because some universities will call it environmental microbiology, while many others will call it geomicrobiology. Okay? Now, when you get there and you are looking for environmental microbiology, and the school is calling it geomicrobiology because geo simply means earth. And what's environment? Environment is actually the study of parts of the earth. So that's it. They just changed the nomenclature. It's the same thing. Now, if you are not aware of this, you would say that that university doesn't have the course. So you need to understand that they do, only that they have changed it so that it is more attractive. Same goes for courses like accounting. You might not find accounting because it's too boring. You might find bachelor's accounting, master's accounting, you might not find, but you might see something like financial technology, financial management. You might see something like business analytics. All of these, they are an offshoot of accounting. And then you might study political science at bachelor's, but please be aware that you can go ahead to do your master's in international development, peace and conflict resolution, and all this. So please don't what's the word I'm looking for? Think out of the box. Think out of the box. Nothing is cast in stone. So take note of all this. Someone who studied English can go on to read something around media and communications, digital communications. Please don't think you must do master's English, PhD English. Don't think that at all. Because if you go on to do master's, PhD English, you will likely suffer. You will likely suffer. English and literature studies is only good enough as a background study. As you narrow and specialize, you want to do something that is extremely applicable. And so you want to do something around the likes of what? Digital communications. You want to do something around media communications and so on. So think about all this. Think deeply about them. The reason why we won't go straight to scholarship is that some people get it wrong from the choice of course. The moment you get it wrong from the way you choose your courses, you will get every other thing wrong. Okay? Next slide. Okay, now this next slide is telling you about now what kind of degree you also need to pursue. So we have masters and we have thought masters, we have research masters. The thought masters is a year, the research masters is 2 years. We also have straight PhD. Now, the country that allows you to do a straight PhD is the United States. And the PhD will often last for like 5 to 6 years. With your bachelor's, you can go do a straight PhD in the United States. So take notes. Now, you also have a master's in business administration, which is an MBA. As a matter of fact, I just completed that like 2 weeks ago. My graduation is in 2 days. So you can also do that if you think that's what you need. If you run a business and you think you need to improve your business sense, that's a degree that I think I recommend strongly that you should take. And in your choice of course of what to study, I would also say that think about the relevance and how lucrative, how profitable the course is in the 21st century. Don't do a course just out of the fact that you like it. If it's not lucrative, You'll just be doing a course that you like. Nobody will call, you'll not be relevant and you will suffer. Nobody will pay you enough for you to make ends meet. Please think about it, that the sweet spot is where passion and profit intersect. That is the sweet spot. And that is where you want to be. The sweet spot is where passion and profit intersect. And that is where you want to be. Okay? Because you can enjoy doing what you do, passion, and at the same time make money from it, profit. And so when you do that, you would see that that's the best thing for you to do. Not a situation where there are two different things. The passion does not have a profit in any way. What is bringing you profit is something you don't enjoy. If that's where you are, there needs to be some tweaking so that both will align. Now let's move on. Next slide. Okay, so if you are listening to me and in your own case, you are considering a career switch, that means what you study in school, you are no longer interested in it. You want to do something entirely new. If that is the case, then I suggest the following. Number one, you need to take 1 or 2 years off. That's post-graduation. After you've graduated, take 1 or 2 years off. What I mean by take 1 or 2 years off is don't try to pursue any scholarship yet because you are trying to port to something else. And you won't have enough background to prove that you're a good fit to study that thing. So let's say that you studied agriculture, but you're interested in data science. Don't do your convocation this year, graduate this year, then immediately you're already seeking for scholarship for data science. Take it from me, you will not be selected. You will not be selected. Why do I know this? I know this because I've done this for a decade and I already understand how these things work. When you are to write your SOP, you will not be able to defend the reason why you are a good fit for data science because there's nothing you've done that is related to that. They will keep looking at you like your background is agriculture. But if you take 2 years off scholarship application and you start building your new portfolio by doing what? Gaining new skills in data science, interning in relevant organizations in data science, working, as a data analyst in one of these startups and gaining work experience. By the time you do that for a year or two, then you come back to start applying for scholarships. Then you will have something to write about in your SOP, something that will be convincing enough for the selection committee to give you a chance. As a matter of fact, when they look at your CV, they will know that you've transitioned. They will know. You don't even need to say a word. They will know you've transitioned from agriculture to data science. That is the reason why if you are switching career, then you need to give yourself some time. Okay? Next slide. Thank you. Now, this slide is talking about how to determine your competitiveness in that space, whether you will be selected amongst your cohorts or not. Now, I have this profiling format that I developed myself, and I call it Macaulay Scholars Profiling Format. And I'll share it with you. Now, this profiling format looks at 11 factors. 11 factors. Now, these 11 factors, if you can score 5 out of 11, it's a pass mark. So if you can score a minimum of 5, then I suggest that your profile is strong and you can go ahead to apply for any scholarship that you like, that reflects your background. If you look at this Macaulay Scholars Profile format and you try to score yourself and you score less than 5, I would say that you should take some time to enrich your profile by looking at the one that you can add to it so that you can move to 5, move to 6, move to 7, and then you stand a bigger chance of being selected. So what are these 11 factors? Number 1, CGPA. Now, CGPA matters a lot. I find a lot of people online. This afternoon, I was still dragging with one lady. I don't even know her from anywhere, who just came to, who was just dragging me. You see, that's the thing with being online. All kinds of people will just be dragging you, right? Including people that actually are not authorities that should be learning from you. They'll just take hold of their keypads and they'll just start typing. And these are the issues. But then that's not what this is about. However, now I found a post which I thought was a bit misleading. When you tell people that with a 2-2, with a third class, you can win, I think it's an incomplete story. I've been doing this job for more than a decade, and I can arrogantly tell you that I'm an authority in this. Most of the mentors you know about, I mentored them. That is how high up an authority I have become. Most of the mentors you know, I mentored them five years ago, right? So what I'm saying here is not what I think. It's what I know for a fact because it's been tested and trusted. Now, if you find someone with a 2-2 or a third class, that's enough. It's not going to earn you anything. There must be something else that you have that must put you in a good stead. And so, if all you have is your CGPA that is very low, you are not going to win anything. I'm not a motivational speaker. I don't have time to make you feel good about yourself. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to make sure that you don't waste your time. That's it. So let's not fool ourselves or waste each other's time. CGPA is a very critical element in scholarship applications, which explains why, ask yourself, most first class, I will use FUTA because it's a university I know like the back of my hand. Most first class from FUTA are not in the country. They've all left. Why is that? Largely because of their grades. You send a cold email to a professor and your opener is that you are a first class graduate. You are the best in your class and you think he will not respond. Oh, he will likely respond because nobody will turn away a talent, someone who is excellent, someone who is top of their class. Nobody will turn such a person away. It is in Nigeria that you find conversations like, who first class help, which I feel that it's uttermost disgusting, right? It's a conversation that we should not even have. Who first class help? You even hear things like, third class, they build company, then they employ the first class. What around nonsense? Trying to reduce the value of a first class. When I was in the UK for 5 years, this was not a conversation that you find. Never. Once you find a first class, everybody honors and celebrates in one voice. Nobody that their village people is torturing comes forward to start making denigrating comments about it. Nobody. Because they know that it's a fantastic achievement. If it's easy, go and do it. It is only in this country you find this weirdness. Because to a large extent, we're a weird people. And somehow we embrace mediocrity. But these things don't occur abroad at all. It's not a conversation. So what am I saying in a nutshell? If you make a first class, I'm so proud of you. Stand tall, especially this graduation where we produced 195 in FUTA. You all should be proud of yourselves. Nobody should make you cower. If it's easy, let them go and do it. And if you made a 2-1, be proud of yourself as well. It's not easy to make a 2-1 in FUTA. And if you make a 2-2, be proud of yourself as well. As a matter of fact, nobody should make anyone feel less just because of their grade. So let's not have the conversation of what all of that is very annoying. But I can tell you for a fact, if you are sitting on the committee, a selection committee on a board, and you don't know people from Adams, and you receive applications from 300 people, and you want to pick 10, you will pick the best on paper. The more you are seeing first class, this, and they are doing all kinds of things, the more you will be selecting them, and that's a fact. Okay? So what am I saying in a nutshell? If you can pursue excellence academically, please do so. That also explains why the Commonwealth particularly I'm glad that the Commonwealth Shared Scholarship is currently out. I'm a 2-time winner of that highly difficult scholarship to win. I won it twice, master's and PhD. And I can tell you for a fact that my grade assisted me. Because when you look at Commonwealth scholars, you realize that 85% of winners are first class. I said it with my full chest. Go and find out. 85% are first class. So do you think it's just coincidence? No. When you look at the selection criteria, number 1 is academic excellence. Go and check. Now, there are 2 that beat first class. So let's now make it clear. The 2 that will beat a first class is a first class that the only achievement they have is their grade. No community engagement, nothing. When you look at the scholarship form, you will see that the last 2 essays are around personal statements, 500 words. Leadership and voluntary experience, 500 words. You will notice that if you've not done anything outside of trying to chase A, you will not have anything to write. So at that point, first class will become useless. If that's the only thing you are carrying around on top of your head, it becomes useless. But in addition to your first class, if you've served your community, your people, you've led, my dear, nobody would be able to contest you, contest against you. You'll be so powerfully strong because everything is check. The leadership, check. Community engagement, check. First class self, check. That means you are a very strong contender. So if you're a first class and the only thing you have is just your grade, you didn't interact, you didn't engage, you are not part of the association in school, you're not part of Sciencoon, you're not part of anything, you're just on your own, chasing grades, then you are doing yourself a lot of disservice. So you can see how I'm clarifying things gradually. Because what I don't like out there is the narrative that is so false. Okay? So there has to be other things that you are doing in addition to your first class. If not, a 2-1 will beat you. A 2-1 that has done all these things, has been a leader, has served his community, graduated with a 3.99 or with a 4.1, it will beat you with your 4.58. It will beat you, clearly. Why? Because today, scholarship sponsors are not just after people who are bookworms. They want potential leaders. And that means you should have been showing your leadership skill right from the university. Okay? Now, the 2-2 group, does that mean they don't now stand any chance? I'll answer you this way. I'll answer you with a client that we assisted in 2021, who was a 2-2. And as I speak to you, she's doing her PhD in the US. So how did she get there? Now, this is not I heard. This was a client of mine. She wrote me in 2021 and told me she had a 2-2. She graduated from FUNAB. What did you study? She studied, what is it called now? FAT. Okay? Aquaculture. Fisheries and aquaculture. Now, FAT is a course that we always drag the students. Peja, peja, this one, there's no name we don't call them. We make a mess of everything, right? We make them feel so bad and useless. This lady said she studied FAT, fisheries and aquaculture. And I told her, I said, okay, so you had a 2-2. So let's not talk about your grade because it's low. So let's put it aside. What else can you bring to the table? Then she told me she has 6 papers. I said, excuse me? She said she has published 6 research papers. I said, how did that happen? She said when she graduated, her undergraduate supervisor told her to stay behind because she had an A in her project. So she stayed behind and she was a research assistant to the professor. So for 3 years, she was assisting this man. And most of the publications from masters and undergrads that she's part of, they'll put her name on it because she'll be part of either analyzing samples in the lab or doing something. So her names were in these papers. 6 papers. When she shared those 6 papers with me, they were top quality papers in peer-reviewed international journals. The moment I saw it, I saw that publication, for publication, she has A+++. And I realized this is a strength. And I said, apply. So let's send a cold email to a professor. Please be quiet about your grade. Just tell her about the publications. And indeed, it attracted attention. So what am I saying in a nutshell? There must be something you are bringing to the table. The narrative cannot be with a tutu. You can still win, no, it's incomplete. With a tutu and something that is extremely convincing, you can win. You will now realize that you will need to work harder than the others. For example, the first class will not need to work so much. It does not need 6 papers. I did not even have 1 paper when I won the Commonwealth. I didn't have 1 paper. But for someone like that with a tutu, you can see there is more. You need more. That's the only thing that is a difficulty. But if you can go through that, if you can survive, overcome, my dear, you will even be beating some first class with your tutu. So you must be bringing something to the table. That emphasis needs to be there. Because I see a lot of people contact me with their tutu and they have nothing else. You are not going to win. There's nothing competitive. Nothing competitive. It's not, look, think about it this way. They will look at your transcript. They are not stupid. And they will look at how to have that tutu. There have been lots of F's and D's in critical courses that are prerequisite to many things you later do at masters. And you think that they will take that. They won't. They'll look at it and say, this person had an F, this person had a D, compared to somebody else who had an A. So it is not rocket science. It is just what it is. So at the end of the day, there must be something else you are going to have to bring to the table to convince them that don't judge me only on my grades. Look at these other things. So be willing. So look at these 11 factors. There must be something you are bringing. If CGPA is not there, there is previous academic laurels. If you've been winning scholarships before, there is a likelihood that you win again. Because it just shows that some people have believed in you. They should also take a chance on you. When I was applying, I had won a couple. I had won Total. I had won Federal Government of Nigeria scholarship, FGM. And I had won RCCG scholarship. The Redeemed Christian Church of God has a scholarship. It is very difficult to win. I got that twice because you have to apply every year, and I got it twice. So I had won a couple before I applied for Commonwealth, and they must have seen it, right? So if you've won previous academic laurels, it is good, mention, it will help you. Relevant internship, summer school, please mention. I said relevant. So it is not just that I've been to summer school. No, whatever you went to do must correlate with what you're applying for. It must be relevant. Work experience, relevant as well. Work experience, relevant. Membership of professional bodies. If you're an engineer, then the NSC is the body that you should join. Okay? Relevant professional certifications. HSC for those interested in health, safety, and environment, environmental health. PMP for those interested in project management. CIPM for those interested in HR. Academic conferences. I'm not talking about you going there to warm the seats. I'm talking about you going there to present. Mention it. Relevant academic publications. I just told you this lady from FUNAB. She eventually got the attention of the professor and she got full funding. And as I speak to you, she's doing a PhD. By the way, she got straight PhD from her bachelor's. Straight PhD. And what helped her was the publications. Now, online courses as well, relevant. Leadership and voluntary experience as well. And finally, excellent referees. Some of you you trivialize references. Please, I'm begging you, if you are listening to me, don't do that ever again. Do you know why? Because they actually score references. References has got scores. The reason why references are very important is because you can say anything about yourself in an SOP. What will make them trust you or confirm what you've said is when somebody credible says something similar about you in a reference letter. Then they will accept what you've said about yourself in your SOP. So the reference is a complement to your SOP. If you treat it with levity, you will regret it. Because they look at it a lot. Now, look at all this and score yourself. What do you have? For CGPA, if it's a 2-1 and above, score yourself as a pass mark. So begin to count what you have. If you have up to 5/11, then that's a pass mark. And that means you are good to go to start applying for scholarships. If you have less than 5, then in my honest opinion, don't forget, this is a framework I designed myself. It is not a universal thing. This is myself after a decade of work in this space. So if you score less than 5, I think you should keep working. Keep working on yourself until you have up to 5 or more. Next slide. All right, so choosing the right scholarship. Now, don't just apply to any scholarship you find. That will be a disastrous approach because it will be like shooting blanks in the air without hitting any target. Be more strategic. For example, when I was a young graduate and trying to apply for my master's, I avoided Chevening. Why did I avoid Chevening? I looked at the requirements of Chevening. I did not meet it at all. 2 years work experience. I did not have it. I didn't. And I knew that this is not a scholarship that is meant for me because the kind of candidate they were looking for, I'm not a good reflection of that candidate. So I didn't bother. When I saw Commonwealth, I pounced on it because it looked like, oh, this scholarship is for me. Little wonder why I won it. Some of you, you start applying to every goddamn scholarship. Everything. As they pass your table, you just they apply. As they pass, they apply. You will chop breakfast. I'm not cursing you. I'm telling you what's going to happen. You will chop breakfast because at the end of the day, there will be a mismatch. And it's not because you are not good enough. It's because you are applying to something that is not a match. If it's a match, you will see that you will make it to the final 10. You will make it. Even if they don't pick you at the end, you will see that you will make it to the final, like you will make it to the end before they finally pick, right? You will see that it's a narrow escape. But if it is something that is not what you're supposed to have done, you go chop breakfast very quickly. So take note, you do not have to apply for everything. Be strategic. Apply to those ones that are a very good match. You will stand more chance. Instead of 25, you can do only 4. You see, when I was younger, I did not have a mentor. So I was just doing this error that I'm guiding you against. I was just applying for everything. So I did 25. I lost 23. I got 23 breakfast. The breakfast was very rich. It was breakfast, lunch, and dinner, served in one. Very rich meal. I didn't have to do 25. That's what it implied. But it's because I didn't have a mentor. I was now so lucky because I keep telling people that I was lucky. I had the grace of God on my path because I don't think I was getting anything right. I had the grace of God that the last 2 now ended up like a match. And that's how I won the last 2. Then I started doing mini, mani, mo. Father has a donkey. Donkey died. Father died. Mini, mani, mo. Commonwealth. So I now decided to do something. I started looking at my applications. And then I realized why I got 23 rejections. I was very stupid. I was just very stupid. no guidance, nothing. So I made very stupid errors. Then I looked at the other two, and I thank God that I accidentally got them right. Then I became the mentor I never had. And now I designed a strategy. Then I started applying it in other people's lives, and they started winning. And they started winning. Then I told myself, I found a strategy. So that's my story in a nutshell, how I became who I've become now. I'm a product of failure, but it has made me so good at what I do. So when you come to me, I'll tell you 100 ways of how to fail, because that's what I did, and I failed. Okay? Next slide. Now, let's look at documents that you should get ready. There are certain documents that you need to get ready. So if you are serious about winning anything and you don't have these documents, it's just lip service. You are not ready. Okay? Number one is your bachelor certificates. Fresh graduates from FUTA, I can see a number of you on this call. Please, go and start trying to get your certificate instantly. I think FUTA will give you that document within the next 2 weeks. You should be able to get it. Get it before you leave for your NYSC. Get it before you leave for your NYSC. Get it before you leave for your NYSC. Why? You don't know where they will post you to. If they post you to a state that is quite far, that will be the beginning of your trouble. You'll be in that state, certificates will be resting in FUTA. You'll be in that state, your transcript will be resting in FUTA. That was an error I never made. The moment I finished, I was writing for my transcript and certificate almost instantly. I was writing for letter of English language proficiency almost instantly. I gathered all those documents as I was traveling to the north because they flung me to Kebbi State. I was flung to Kebbi. So when I ended up in Kebbi, I had no business with FUTA because I had all the documents with me, including an international passport. Almost like I was a step ahead, extremely proactive. Winning a scholarship is a full-time job. You must know what you are doing. You can't afford to slack. So I got all my documents and I started applying from the north. And that was where I submitted all my 25 applications. And I won 2 out of 25. Today, my clients don't have to do 25 because I am their eyes and ears. My experience is enough. They only need to do 4 and they've won. They only need to do 4 and they've won. Now, there is more strategy. There is more pattern to the way they apply.
Chambers International.
Okay? Now, same goes for your international passport. Please go and get it. You already know that it might take you up to 3 months if you apply in Lagos. So why are you wasting any time? I expected you to have applied before now. So what some of you do is, you already know that it takes time for some of these things to come out. You will now start applying late. Then you will not meet the deadline of application. Then you start ranting on the internet. How terrible the school system is. How terrible your country is. How may Nigeria not happen to you? No, it's because you were not proactive. Full stop. You were born into this system and you understand the way things happen. You know that for some documents, it takes 3 weeks. You know that for some documents, it takes 2 months. So what should you do? What you are supposed to do is simple. You're supposed to run after these documents as soon as you can. But if you don't do that, then you'll be stuck. Because there are Nigerians like you that were proactive and they were not stuck. So what's the difference? You were just slow. You were slacking. That's the difference. Reference letter. As I said, reference letter is very important. So choose your referees very carefully. Some of you think that the way to choose your referee is to pick someone that is the highest ranking Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So what is the point of having the highest ranking professor as your friend if he is the dean of a faculty and he's so busy? You'll be excited that I'm going to put the dean of a faculty. That decision might cost you a lot at the end of the day. Because yes, he's a powerful man, but if he does not have your time, then you are doomed. Because you will pursue him and pursue him. And it's not that he's a wicked man. He just doesn't have time. So I would tell you now, when you are picking professors or picking... Hello? Hello?
We
Hello?
can hear you, sir.
Yes, sir. We can hear you.
We can hear
Okay.
you, sir.
So when you are picking, yeah, so when you are picking anyone to be your referee, ensure that the person is available. Extremely important that the person is available. Because if the person is not available, then you will suffer. So it's not just about the status of the person. The person must be available for you. Secondly, the person must have digital footprint. That means when you Google the person's name, you can see what they've been doing. You don't want a professor of 1960 that has no digital footprint of any kind. That is not a good professor to have as a referee. So go and think very clearly about your referee. You want someone that is available, someone who is digitally, whose works can be available or whose works are available digitally. You can find them on the internet, right? You can see their activities online. You can see their achievements online just by Googling their full name. You would see what they are doing. These are the kind of, and most importantly, someone who likes you. What is the point of going after someone that does not like you, does not want you to succeed, that will be giving you bad advice? You want someone that likes you, someone that is happy for your progress. So these are the things. Now, if you pick the referee correctly, you will discover that you will stop bothering yourself about reference templates, because a lot of people come to me, sir, do you have a template for reference letter? And I say, what is that your problem? What is your business with a reference letter? Are you the referee? Why are you running helter-skelter about a reference template? Are you the referee? As a matter of fact, that document is a very confidential document that most of the time you're not even supposed to have access to it. So how come you are so worried about its content? That's not your business. Let the referee deal with it. Your business is to choose a referee that has sense. Your own business is to choose a referee that has sense. Let the referee deal with it. It should not be your headache. So please don't go around looking for a template for referee. Why? That's not your business. You are not the referee. I never had to do that. I just chose myself excellent referees and they did justice, and the rest was history. I didn't have to bother myself. Why? Am I the referee? So please take note of these. Next slide. I'm going to be a bit quick because time has gone. Now, your scholarship essay. I have a framework I call the PEWO CSF. Now, what's the PEWO CSF? It's problem statements, education, work experience, others. C for course, S for school, F for your future plans. That's the framework. So how are you going to align this in an SOP? Paragraph 1 will focus on the problem statement, and these are challenges, prospects, or personal experiences. I'll give you a good example. You should not start an SOP without this. That is my style. When you go online, you will see all kinds of style. But if you want to use my style that has been tested and trusted, this is my style. You should always start with a problem statement. Don't put the problem statement in the middle. Don't put it at the end. You must start with it. Okay? Because you are telling a story. Your SOP is like a story. So it will make sense if you start with the problem statement. Because it shows why you became attracted to that course. Now, it can be a challenge. There's a problem of food security in the country. So people, blah, 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 food spoilage, blah, blah, blah. That's why I'm interested in food security. That's why I'm interested in food sustainability. Fantastic justification. I have a client that got interested in digital health. Why? Because she lost her uncle to cerebral malaria. And that is her personal experience. And she writes it in her opening. I lost my uncle to cerebral malaria because we could not find medication to treat him on time. As a result, I went to study pharmacy. And then I realized I need to complement my skill with tech. That's why I'm interested in digital health. You can see fantastic justification. That's a personal experience that is tragic. And it's strong enough. So little wonder why that lady went on to win. She won a scholarship. Because her justification is strong. So you must start with a problem statement. There must be something that is getting you in, that is making you to be interested in this. And I beg you in the name of whatever you worship, do not talk about when you were a kid. Because many of you keep using that approach and it's very annoying. I've always known I will study engineering since I was a child. Please cut the crap because we know it's a lie. We know it's a lie. Okay? So don't even go there. Okay? So why not focus on what the truth is? Rather than Googling for a template, seeing it on Google and writing your SOP to follow that template. That's a disaster. Trust me. There is nothing as fantastic as being original. Because in the tone of your writing, it will reflect that you are original. If you are a copy, you are a scammer, and it's going to show. I've been doing this job for so long that I've reviewed over 1,000 SOP in 12 years. And I can tell you that I can spot a scammer. The moment I get to your paragraph 2, I'll know you are a scammer. Because there's a way you will write that I'll know that it's a scam. Okay? So be original. If the issue of engineering came to you when you were about to fill your UME or your UTME, don't start telling us wrong stories about when you were a child, when I was a teenager. Please don't do that. Let's go serious to the issue. Okay? Talk about the challenges in engineering in your field. And talk about how the knowledge will help you solve the problem. Period. Okay? Paragraph 2 is your education. This is where you talk about your education. This is where you talk about your work experience. This is where you talk about others. When I say others, I mean previous, what is it called now? Things you've done, skill sets, volunteering, teaching experience, all these things, that are relevant to the course. Mention them here. Paragraph 3, now focus on your course and the school. Mention why you are attracted to that course. Don't forget that paragraph 1 is the reason why you want to do the course. This paragraph 3 is why you want to do that course in that particular school. Okay, you are interested in food security. Why do you want to do the food security at University of Sussex, UK? Why? Why not food security at University of Oxford? Why are you interested in the one at Sussex? So you must justify. And you can't do this without going to the website, the web page of the course, to read through it very well. School means, why did you choose the school? I beg you, don't mention anything generic here. Saying, because it's a top university in the UK, it's a top university in the US. Please, what does that even mean? there are many top universities, for God's sake. Or when you say things like, oh, it's because they have high quality faculty. Oh, the academics, they are experts. Oh, the others, you think they don't have experts? All these comments, you've not said anything. They are too generic. You must be very specific. Do your homework about that school. Is it the second best school for digital technologies? Then mention why you are interested in going there for your business analytical course. Because they are number one in AI ML. So be very specific. You are interested in doing international development at University of Sussex. Why? Because they are the number one development school in the world. University of Sussex, UK. Then that makes perfect sense. You chose University of Bangor, UK, because they are the foremost in agric-related disciplines in the UK. That's why I want to go there for my master's in food security. Fantastic. Don't just make open-ended comments. It will not fly. Okay? Last paragraph. Your future plans. Do not ever submit an SOP without making reference to your future plans. Because when you make reference to your future plans, they will now see how that scholarship will take you steps towards achieving your career objectives. That is what will make them give you the scholarship. Because they will realize they are contributing to your career development. So without knowing what your future plan is, they will not just put money on your head. That last paragraph is extremely important. Now, when you want to write your future plans, separate it into 3 parts. Immediate plan. That is, the moment you complete your master's, what are you going to do next? Tell them what you want to do. Immediate plan. The second thing you want to talk about is either you talk about short-term plan or medium-term plan. Short-term plan is when you are looking at, let's say, 1 to 3 years. You can mention what you'll be doing in 1 to 3 years. If you decide to leave that alone and focus more on medium-term, then look at 3 to 5 years. What do you want to be doing 3 to 5 years after completing your master's? So if you need to think, go and think very well about it. The last part of this is your long-term plan, and that's 5 to 10 years. What do you want to be doing in 5 to 10 years? You must tell us. Don't forget, that must be something big because it's a decade away. Also, there is a trap that I must tell you about. There is a trap. That trap is, if you start talking about things that you want to accomplish in your last paragraph, and you look at your paragraph 1, and there is no match, that means you are a scammer. Don't forget that your paragraph 1 is problem statement. You've told them that there is a problem. The problem is in agriculture, is food spoilage, food wastage. So Nigeria is wasting 60% of the food it's producing, and it's going to affect food security. That's why you're interested in food sustainability, masters. That means in your last paragraph, everything you say you want to fix in your medium, long-term, and immediate plans, there must be accommodation to resolve food spoilage there. If you don't resolve food spoilage or attempt to resolve food spoilage, then you are a scammer. That means you are a scammer. That means you just want to japa. You don't have intention to solve any problem at all. That is how they are going to find you out. It's very simple. It's a simple glance. You just look at your paragraph 1, look at your paragraph 2, there is no match, and they will see that this person needs to be served breakfast. So you cannot tell us that there is a problem and your plan is not to solve it. So your last paragraph must show how you intend to solve that problem. Okay? And it must be realistic. The way you intend to solve it must be realistic. Next slide, please. Next slide. Academic CV. I'll run through this because it's quite easy to understand. This is the structure of a proper academic CV. It should start with your full name. And then, in addition to that, it should have your address, email, mobile number, and you can add your LinkedIn link, the link to your LinkedIn. Please don't add it if you know that your LinkedIn is not up to date. It's empty, then don't add it. Please, these are the only things you should add. Don't add your date of birth. Don't add your marital status. Don't add your religion. Don't add your local government area. I'm begging you. The only thing you need to put there, address, email, mobile number, and optional, your LinkedIn web link, the link, your URL to your LinkedIn page. The next to that is your research interest. Itemize what your research interest is. Don't write in prose. Itemize it with bullet points. And don't put more than 3, please. Don't put up to 10. What the hell is that? Just make it 3, and that's enough. The next is education. Next after education should be work experience. Next after that is your publications. Next after that is your skills and competencies. Next after that should be professional certifications, if any. Professional memberships, if any, which means if it's not there, if you don't have, remove them. Awards, honors, recognitions, put them there, if any. For some people that don't have any, remove it. But I think there should be something you should be able to put in here. Leadership and voluntary experience. Please don't separate them. Put them together. Don't separate them. Put them together and write them properly. And finally, references. You will see that hobbies are not there. Please don't put hobbies. Don't put hobbies. References. And for your references, don't put the list of your referees. Don't start putting their names and data, their mobile number. Don't do that. Just say references will be available on request. Why is modern CVs having this kind of format? The reason why you don't put referees there is because we are now in the age of data security, information management, right? Everyone is now very careful about their data. The problem is that when you put all the information of your referee and you start sharing your CV everywhere, that means you are making everyone have access to your referee's mobile number and email address. Even address. That is wrong in this day and age. In this age of data, that is wrong. In fact, it's a crime. So you are not supposed to put it in there and start sharing your CV to everybody that wishes to have that. Because that's not what your referee would have wanted. So keep that information. It is when they request for it that you then release it. Okay? So that's the reason for that. It's not just that it has changed. No, there's a reason for it. Data protection. That's the reason. Because we are in the age of the internet and data. Next slide. I'm wrapping up now. Develop a thick skin. My dear, I don't chop breakfast for my life. 2021, even with my PhD, I still chop breakfast. Okay? I eventually won, but I eventually won some very nice things, but I still chop breakfast. What does that mean? It does not matter. It does not matter. It does not matter how fantastic your CV is. There is no arrogance about it. You go still collect. You know why you go still collect? Because the more global the opportunities are, the more difficult it will be for you to win it. So there is a high chance that you will chop breakfast. But if you don't try, you'll never know. And if you give up, now you sabi. So somebody like me, I have won 13 scholarships and fellowships in my life. In total, 13. In 20 years, I've won 13. However, in that 20 years, I've lost 70. I've lost 70. But I won 13. Go and do the math. You will see that, man, that's ridiculously terrible. Yeah, it's terrible. But how they will talk about me is, he's a serial winner of scholarships. That guy is a scholarship Badu. He's a scholarship Kenekon. He's a scholarship this. They will not tell you that I have actually carved 70 breakfast multi-kasara. That one will not come out of the entire story. What am I saying in a nutshell? Even the best of us will chop breakfast. So if you don't have a tough skin to continue applying in spite of your breakfast, and you fall by the roadside, now you sabi, you will never win. That's what it means. But if you don't give up, your time will come. If you don't give up, your time will come. Final slide. Can you please go to the last slide? Okay, ask for help. You need to ask for help. With the help of a scholarship mentor, you will save a lot of time, wastage, and errors. Absolutely. I did 25 before I won 2 for my master's. Now, you come to me. You don't even need 25. 4 is enough, and you've won. What's happening there? I'm a mentor, and so I can tell you what not to do. And you eventually win. So it will save you stress. It will save you errors. It will save you regrets. It will save you unnecessary breakfast. Okay? And in this day and age that there is help everywhere, when you go on LinkedIn, there are a whole lot of people, helping people, supporting people. My friends are there. They are everywhere. Dr. Kelechukwu Onwukamike is a very good friend of mine. And a whole lot of others. They are online. They are there. And we know ourselves. We know ourselves. Okay? So reach out for help. You don't have to do it on your own. So that you can reduce the amount of rejections that you likely get. Next slide. All right. Thank you so much for listening. And I'll take your questions now if you have any. All right.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you very much, sir. This is so amazing. Oh, can we please give our speaker a round of applause? Let's give Jamaica a round of applause. Also, thank you very, very much, sir, for taking the time to explain. Okay, so we have some question here.
Okay.
We want to also thank you. A question from
Okay.
Osinaya Temitope. And you have 3 questions, so I'll just do 3 questions now. The first question is it that one must have secured admission before applying for these scholarships? That's the first question. The second question, must be left free their
Okay.
academic. And the third question, can you please help us with the list of available scholarship for geoscience courses so that we can start to check the requirements? These are the 3 questions from Osinaya Temitope. Can you answer that before I read the other ones?
Okay. First of all, can you guys see me? Because I put on my camera. Can you see me?
Sir.
No, you can't.
We can't see you, sir.
Okay. I think it's me. Okay. I think you should be able to see me now.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good enough. Fantastic.
No.
Because sometimes the
Yes, sir.
Yorubas will say, Oju loro wa. So sometimes if you don't see me,
Yes,
it might be.
sir.
All right. So do you need to secure admission? Well, it depends on the scholarship type. For Chevening, they might not tell you expressly that you ought to have gotten admission before you apply, but they would have told you that by so month, you ought to have gotten your admission. For Commonwealth, you should be getting your admission and applying for the scholarship at the same time, simultaneously. So you can see that to a large extent, many of them, they require you to have secured admission alongside the scholarship, but not all of them, which is why you should read the requirements. It will tell you what to do. The other question, I didn't get that. I think one person said a list of scholarships. I should give you a list. Now, I don't think that will help you. What I think will help you more is go and follow Opportunity Desk. Okay? When you follow Opportunity Desk, follow them on Facebook, follow them everywhere. It's a page, just follow them. They share scholarship opportunities and other global opportunities in real time. So when you visit your Facebook page, you will see that it will come out. And then you see it in real time. So that way you don't need to be running after them. Those opportunities will come to your desk. So it's Opportunity Desk. Follow them. Very important. Because you won't have to be running after them. They will come to your desk. What's the third question, please? Because I missed it.
Must the referee be an academician?
Now,
must the referee be an academician?
Yes. Now, I think what the person meant, must the referee be an academic? An academic, not academia. Now, must the referee be an academic? One of them has to be. Why is that? Because you're applying for an academic thing. It's an academic thing. So if they ask you for 2 referees, do one of the following. It is either the 2 of them are academic, or you choose one that is academic and the other is non-academic. But one of them must be academic. Why? Because it is only an academic referee that can write about your intelligence in relation to your peers. Only an academic must have graded you before. Only an academic must have taught you before and can say something about your intelligence in relation to your peers, your research competence in relation to your peers. Only an academic can do that. Someone who is your boss at work can't do that. Your boss at work can only write about your work ethics. He can only write about your work ethics. But someone that will write about your intelligence, critical thinking, analytical thinking, ability to work with others, as well as your research ability, right? Your innovative and creative mindset is an academic person that can write that. It's an academic person that can say, this person has been in classroom with 200 people and came first. This person was in classroom with so person and did this. So that's my answer. If they are requesting for 3 referees, make sure that 2 are academic, 1 is non-academic. So that's my advice.
Okay. Thank you very much for that, sir. I hope the person that has that question is satisfied. Okay, another person asked a question that is important of Oshina Yatemitayo as well. Okay, has another question like, when is the appropriate time to apply for TOEFL and the rest, during service year or during final year in school? And also he asks that, can you make a provision for an example of your own SOP? Like, if you can share one of your SOP. That's the 2 questions for now, sir.
Okay, so I will start with the last question. No, I don't share my SOPs because so in 2012, 2013, when I started out, I used to share those documents. Then I realized that it was everywhere. Then I realized that someone sent a document to me to review. And I started seeing my language inside their SOP. And I'm like, where did you get this? Person says something is roaming about on the internet. I'm like, what? I shared my SOP for you to learn from. You people are doing copy and paste. Then I realized, okay, Nigerians will always be Nigerians. Many of them are just like that. They will just say, what's the point of being creative? This is a winning SOP. They will just copy chunks and put it inside their SOP. So, sorry to disappoint you, but I don't do that anymore. I've learned the hard way. If I do that, 80% of people listening to me will be tempted to copy and paste. So I don't share documents. I don't. I will teach you what to do, but I will not share documents. By teaching you what to do, if you listen well enough, you can create for yourself a document. Nobody is that bereft of ideas, bereft of innovative thinking and thoughts. You can do it. Don't think that someone must make you intellectually lazy and serve all the food on a plate for you. No, I've told you paragraph by paragraph. Do you know what I've done? I've broken it down enough for you, paragraph by paragraph. So think about the content of each paragraph and start slotting in those things you want to slot in. You create yourself a unique SOP that is yours. That's what you need, not somebody else's SOP. That you will now start copying, because it happens. I've seen it happen years ago. So I'm not going to do that. People also tell me to share SOPs of my clients. That's against the contract that I signed with my clients. I will never share their SOP. Never. Including the ones that I've won. I will never share it. So don't ever come to me or request from me a document, because I will not give you. But I will train you. I will teach you. I will explain to you. And I think that is good enough for anyone that is serious. TOEFL. Before you waste your money on TOEFL, find out whether that university will accept English language proficiency letter from you. Because many schools accept it now. A letter from your university claiming that your language of instruction in that school was English. That's all. Many schools will accept it from you now. That's all. If I write them that you are requesting for a waiver because you studied in English, you just see that they'll waive it. Today, these days, they waive it. So before you waste money, be sure. Make sure that you make an attempt to find out. It is when they tell you and they insist that you can now say, okay, they are requesting for TOEFL or IELTS. But ask first. When is the best time to write it? Just write it prior to when you want to start applying. For example, applications are going on now. When should you write it? Write it now. Write it as soon as you have the money and as soon as you have the time to prepare. TOEFL can be difficult too. So prepare. Don't just say, is it not English? Wala no. Let me say that in English. Don't just say, is it not English? You go chop, you go collect. So prepare, so that it will not shock you. Prepare. So that's my answer to that. Unfortunately, I don't think I can take more than 2 more because I have to go because of the time. I don't think I can take more than 2 more. Yeah.
Okay, sir. This question I think is really in relation to another question that I've seen. And the question is, can someone who didn't lecture me, that is maybe someone that is not a lecturer in my university where I study, can that person be my referee?
Okay.
Can
Can I
and
take a
also can
last one? Let
somebody
us take a last one.
okay, I'm trying to see anyone.
Okay.
Okay, someone is asking here. Okay, how do you approach a referee you lost touch with after school but need his help? And I think this last one, sir, as for the hunt for medical scholarship, can a sophomore indulge his or herself in an undergraduate scholarship?
Hey, I
I think that's
requested
the
for
most that we have for
2.
now.
You've given me 3. I requested for 2
So I
because I
just
have
saw
to
that
go.
before.
Lecturer in another
Yes,
university.
sir.
There's something about reference. There was something about reference. What was it? Is it? No, I didn't get the
In my
second one you
university.
said. I got that one. There was a second
Okay, the
question
first.
you.
Okay. Oh, the person said that if I lost a contact with a referee, like a lecturer, How
Okay,
can I get
contact.
with that
Okay, so
person?
what was the third one that you mentioned? The third one.
Okay, the third one says that as for the earns for medical scholarship, can a sophomore indulge his or herself in an undergraduate scholarship?
First of all, what is sophomore? What is sophomore? The person that asked
Question
the
to me, sir.
question, the person that asked the question should please tell me what is sophomore. So the person can just put up a message so that I can take that. What is sophomore? I'm driving at something. Okay, because of time, let me just go straight at it. Please try to stop Americanizing your processes in Nigeria. I see that a lot, and when I see it, I get very angry. I'll just be like, what is wrong with these people? Are you in America? Is sophomore how we explain or express ourselves in your fourth year? Do we use the word sophomore? Where is it coming from? Oh, because you want to go to America. You think they are so stupid that when you say my penultimate year or when you say my fourth year, they won't understand. You must use their language because you are in America. Stop Americanizing what you are doing. And if you are overall best, I'm begging you, don't use their expression for overall best. You know what I mean. Those expressions that they use. Don't use it. What we use in Nigeria is BGS. Stick to it. They are not stupid. You are not the only Nigerian that is going to America. They know that it is BGS that we call it. Okay? Don't try to Americanize the process. It is best graduating student. That's it. Forget all the Latinized expressions that they use, because that's not what you use in Nigeria. So that's sophomore. The moment I saw it, I knew that I was going to have a problem with the person. Why are you using sophomore? When you go for IT in your fourth year, does footer tell you, sophomore students, have you gone to IT? So what the heck is wrong with you guys? Why must you lose your originality? Like, what is wrong with you guys? Those selection committees, they know you are Nigerians. They know your processes. Stick to it. Don't try to sound like an American. You are not. Best graduating student, stick to it. Not all those Latinized expressions. You know what I mean. I don't want to start mentioning them. Secondly, avoid sophomore. If you're talking about applying for scholarship in your fourth year, the answer is no. Why? What are you rushing for? Who is pursuing you? Pressure, Tiwa. Pressure, Tiwa. You are putting the pressure on yourself by yourself. You don't even have a CGPA. You are applying. Why? Technically, you don't have a CGPA. What you have is a GPA for that session and a CGPA that cuts across to part 4. You don't have a graduating CGPA. So what are you applying for? Some of you are so in a hurry. When you rush, you will crush. It's an expression that is a popular expression. When you rush, you will crush. Take it easy on yourself and be calm. Okay? Graduate and graduate well. Then start your process. Okay? And I will also add, serve. Because I'm one of those that will tell you to serve your country. Okay? So I don't know where you are running a cat race to. When you come to me, I will just tell you to your face, what are you running a cat race for? Serve. It's a year. You won't die. Remove 1 year from your 23-year-old. You are 23 and you are running helter-skelter. Like, what the heck? Remove 1 year from your 23. Fine, you are 24. Then go on and chase the world. Go on and be the best you can be. But why are you so in a hurry? Why? So please, calm down. Or should I sing like Rema? Baby, calm down. Calm down. Calm down. So I'm not going to answer the sophomore question because you should be in school. You should be in school You should be doing your IT. You should be learning. You should be gaining more experience. You should be leading. You should be joining Sciencoon. You should be helping your community, not thinking of a scholarship. And what you are doing now is just be getting the information. Be getting the, not that I want to start applying. Like, what are you applying? Oh my God. It is well. Okay. Let's go to the other two questions. Contact. My dear, the truth of the matter is, some of you have lost touch on how to build real relationships because the internet has spoiled you guys. Today, when you see a lady that you like, you just quickly go to her DM because it's very easy to type nonsense in her DM. Sometimes you type the nonsense and she will ignore you because you lack character, you lack expression, you don't know how to communicate. Then you abuse her because she refuses to answer you. Let me tell you what is happening there. We have all lost touch with how to really engage each other. That is why when you meet physically, half of you are still inside your phone. You don't know how to communicate and engage each other anymore. It's dying because you think that life is easier by going onto the phone and just sending a DM to somebody to talk to you. I'm a millennial and I grew up in an age where you literally walk up to a lady and your A game must be there. You want to talk to her, you must know how you will tell her, hi, my name is this. Can I talk to you for a sec? I do this, I do that, I do this. I'm sorry to stop you, blah, blah, blah. Your A game must be there. You must know how to talk. Now, these days, you have a bunch of idiotic men that don't know shit, but can hide under a DM to type nonsense to you. If you tell them now, lock them in a room with a girl and say, talk to her. You'll be a emu. I'm shy. I don't know how to start from. Because you don't know how to communicate and socialize. We have a big problem. It's a big problem. It's a big problem. I'm telling you. So what am I saying in a nutshell? The reason why you are not able to develop that relationship with your supervisor or with your lecturer is because you don't know how to socialize. One problem that Gen Zs have got, you are so digitally savvy that you think all your life is on the internet. Oh, there's something called a real life. A real life where you have to physically engage people. Okay? I'm not here to do a Gen Z war. I'm sorry, I don't have the time. But we need to say the truth where it is. The truth is that some of you don't even know what it is to socialize anymore. Socializing for you means having friends online. And they're not your friends, actually. They're not your friends. You will know when you run into trouble. That's when you will know that they are not your friends. So how do you build real friendship? That means you need real connection. And you must learn how to build it. That's engage people. Talk to them. Call them. Hello, hi. Meet up. Today, you meet people online. You tell them you want to meet up. They run away. Because they don't know how to do physical meetings these days anymore. They just want their fake lives online. So how are you now going to be able to sustain the contacts that you have? How? So let me tell you what the real deal is. Because me, I'm not a motivational speaker. I'm an academic, so I'll say it as it is. You cannot beat me. Now, I will tell you this. You need to start building a relationship with your lecturers. That means don't just do from school to home. School to home, you don't want to talk to anybody. Build some relationships. Not all the lecturers are full of shit. I'm a lecturer and I know I'm not full of shit. I've won awards from students and they come to my office for many things. I'm not the only one like this in my department. There are a couple of names that I can call. And I'm sure we have the version of my kind in your school. So what were you doing? Not trying to be friends with these people. You should have been friends with them, talking to them, such that when you call them after, let's say, 3 months, it should be, oh, James, how are you? Where are you now? It should be easy to reconnect. You know why it's hard to reconnect? You never, ever nurtured anything. And what you don't nurture will never, ever be able to utilize in the future. What you don't nurture, you will never, ever be able to utilize or benefit from in the future. You nurture, it will be there for you in the future. Period. You don't nurture, then you want them to help you out of the blues. Kolewek. Sorry. Kolewek. Now, let me answer the first question. And I think that's the last one. Because I'm even late, but then I'm happy to be here to finish off before I go do what I have to do. It says, must the lecturer be in the same school? Okay? Must the lecturer be in the same school? The answer is very simple. The answer is very simple. You are looking for an academic referee so that referee can say something about your intelligence in relation to your peers. You automatically see that a lecturer in another school did not teach you. So again, it will not work. However, a lecturer in another school can write a second reference letter for you. But you need somebody that taught you, because that person will clearly be able to write about your intelligence and research. In fact, most times, if you can put your supervisor, it's great, because your supervisor will write about the way you handled your research work. It's great. But I understand that sometimes relationships with supervisor may go left. I know, I've been a student before. I know. And if that's the situation, then use a lecturer in the same department that taught you. You don't have to use your supervisor. But if you're going to use a lecturer in another department that did not teach you, or a lecturer in another school that did not teach you, it should be an addition. Because at the end of the day, you need someone that taught you, right? You need someone that taught you. So that's it. And for some of you that are struggling, hey, how am I going to? It is because you don't know how to make friends, socialize, network. Now, these days, there's a word called networking. Some of you think it's accumulating friends online. That's not networking. That's not networking. Networking is you nurturing real relationships. You might find someone that you like what they are doing online. What you have to do is to engage them by DM, take it away from online, start talking. Start talking. When you start talking, set up a meetup, then sit down, have a meal, and talk about your lives and what you do. After that meeting, you will see how tight your bond is going to become. That is exactly how to network, how to put people in your radar, and how to nurture and keep relationships. Not that every time you think everything is online. It's online. You don't want to meet people. You don't want to meet people. It's online. Continue. May God help you. So that's it. I hope I've been able to answer questions. Yes, I sounded very aggressive this afternoon or this evening. It is necessary sometimes. It is very necessary sometimes, so that information will reach inside the bottom of pots. Because it has to enter inside your soul and spirit. That's why I'm not smiling, right? I'm not smiling at all. Because, I'm always around young people. And so some of these things come up every time. So I feel like I have to just tell you as seriously as I can without smiling. Because if I'm joking around, you go things that they play. I know they play. Now the facts, and I just give you so that you can win. Because it will be my joy if you win, right? I'll be so excited. At least you will be able to say, it was when I came to Dr. Macaulay's, I got some tips and I won. I'll be happy now. But I can't sit here and tell you things that won't work. That's not what I will do. So that's it.
This is a wow. Thank you very much, Dr. Babajide. We really, really appreciate your time. We appreciate the counsel. We appreciate the energy. We appreciate the frankness. Thank you, sir. God bless
That's
you,
what you will
sir.
get with
We do
me.
pray that God is going to help each and every one of us. Hopefully, by God's grace, we are going to make you proud as well. Okay, now to God be the glory. We have come to the end of this webinar, and like I said earlier, this
You got a question, oh.
webinar was
Hey,
organized by Sciencoon.
this person that asked question,
Oh,
I have to
sorry.
go
For
because
every other
I'm
person that
late.
have
I'm
question,
more than 30 minutes late. So I sincerely
yes, sir,
apologize.
I think
But I
yes, sir, no
think they
problem,
can
sir.
send their question and I
Arrangement will
can
be made.
answer it later. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I
Arrangement to
have
be
a
made for
question
all
too,
those
sir.
people that still have question. Please, for all those that still have question, please try to get your question either across to me or one of the organizer. That is, you see Sciencoon General Group. Please send your question to that number. So the question will be gotten through to Dr. Babajide, and we're going to get back to you by God's grace. So, like I was saying earlier before that, seeming interruption. I said this is a Queen and it's a science club, so we're open for membership for anyone that wanted to join the club. Like when our speaker was talking, he was saying like join cycling. Join. We have so many voluntary organizations that we can join and we can use it to build our profile. And cycling is one of that organization that you can join and build your profile as well. So yeah, so we are, like I said at the introduction, we are currently undergoing an induction process. So you can, yes, put in your slots before the time runs out. So once again, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that has made themselves available, and also um the video of this webinar will be made available very soon, so you can check it on our YouTube page, and other webinars that we have held in the past. The video are also available on YouTube, our YouTube channel. You can follow us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and on all our social media platform. You can follow us, and yeah, and you're going to learn a lot. So this is a winning club, this is a winning team, and yeah, we have been breaking grants, and God has been helping us. So, like I said, also during the introduction, we have a proposed science festival towards the end of this year. We hope to see you there. So once again, thank you all, and God bless you. Do have a wonderful night rest. Thank you, Dr. Babajide.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you so much for having
you,
me. Thank you so much.
everyone.
Okay, guys.
God
All
bless
right.
you all.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So I think we can leave the call now.